Hey, what's up guys? I'm back after a year of my last video. I took a break. I took a very long ass break and I regret it, but I'm here. I have a lot of spare time, especially since, quarantine. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So I kind of want to backtrack because there was a story that I forgot to mention. Not because that it's bad, but because it was an embarrassing story. Several years ago when I was about 18 or 19, I did what every horny teenager did. Send nudes. When I took these pictures, it didn't really matter what time it was, but it was always when I took these pictures. It didn't take place in this room, it took place in another room that I was asleep in. But in the room, the window peered onto another room. Weird, I know, but that's important. So when I took these pictures, there was always a bang on the wall, and it scared the shit out of me. I mean, I'm over here taking fucking nudes, and then there was a bang on the wall. I was afraid that it was my brother or my parents, but the thing is that you need a key to get in that room. And the door made a very loud noise, which is something you would notice, especially if you're doing something sketchy, like sending nudes. But after a couple times, I kind of got used to it. I kind of stopped because, I was getting a little annoyed and scared that was happening. When I stopped, I realized that maybe this is the Holy Ghost trying to keep me from sinning, I know you're not supposed to name ghost or whatever, but I mean, fuck it. When I was younger, I was always afraid to take a shower. Not because I was a nasty little child, it was because when I would take a shower with the curtains closed, I'll always see a shadow walk past the curtain. It scared the shit out of me so much that I had to take a shower with the curtains open. And I still do it. That's how freaked out I was as a kid. And when I tell my girlfriend these stories, she always thought I was being dramatic, just upping up my scary stories, so when I tell them to other people, they will think that, oh, my house is really haunted. But it wasn't until one day that we were home alone and we were taking a shower. I finished first, as all men do, so I left the room to go change, obviously. So my girlfriend was taking a shower by herself. So as I was changing, I heard my girlfriend scream from the bathroom. I ran to go check on her, and I said, "What happened?" So I went to go check up on her. She asked me if I was in the bathroom. I said no, I was changing. She told me that she saw a shadow pass by through the curtain. She was freaked out, but I had to take the time to say, "I told you so." But on all seriousness, I was kind of happy, but really fucking scared that somebody experienced something I did when I was younger. Made me feel a lot better that I wasn't crazy and seeing shit, but at the same time, it scared the shit out of me because I was seeing shit. However, this next story is not as scary, but it still kind of annoys me a little bit more than actually scaring me. So in my room, I hear scratches kind of all around the walls, specifically in two areas. One behind my whiteboard, and the second one is always above my head. And it doesn't matter if I'm laying down about to sleep or if I'm just laying against the wall, it happens above my head. It scratches and bangs. The bangs always happen in the window or over here where I have my picture. People will say that the scratches are rats or some shit. I don't have fucking rats. I just want to make that fucking clear. I don't got fucking rats. And if it was rats, why the fuck is it happening only in two certain places, and the second one is always revolving around me? Like, I don't smell like shit, and I don't smell like food, so there's no reason why they'd be attracted to me. Usually these happens at nighttime, and it kind of sometimes happens when I'm about to go to sleep. Mostly the banging noise happens before I go to sleep. I consider it a goodnight kiss from the ghost. A couple months after I experienced the yell that happened in my brother's room that I explained in the previous video from like a year ago, it wasn't the last time I experienced something from his room. One day I was taking a shower and I was home alone. When I was exiting, I heard scratches, and the thing that popped in my mind was, okay, maybe it's the scratches I always hear. But it sounded more metallic, so it kind of threw me off guard. Then when I looked at my brother's room, I realized it was coming from there. And when I looked down his door, I saw that his doorknob was kind of shaking. It can be explained by a draft, but the thing is, if there was a draft coming from his room, I would expect that his whole door will be moving, not just the doorknob. So I did what any rational person would do. I said, fuck that. I changed real quickly and I fucking dipped. I didn't know where the fuck I was going. I think I was going to work, But the point is, I try to get the fuck out of the house because that shit's fucking creepy. I mean, nobody wants to be in a fucking house where the doorknobs are shaking. In my previous video, I mentioned that how I hear footsteps in the hallway, and then I mentioned that my parents don't kind of believe me, my brothers, and my girlfriend's stories when we tell them that we experience shit. But my mom experienced something, and she realized that we're not fucking crazy. But the best part is about my mom experiencing something, it wasn't just one or two, it was 3 fucking times. That's what makes it even fucking better. The first time my mom experienced something, she was home alone. So she heard footsteps in the hallway, and she didn't think anything too much of it because she always gives the excuse of the house is old or some shit like that. When she continued hearing the noises, she decided to go take a look to see what it was, because we do have a parrot and she maybe thought it was that. But when she got closer to the hallway, she saw a shadow move from the hallway down to her room. She was freaked out about it, but she's kind of skeptical, so she came up to me when I came home and she made it into a joke. She said she saw my fantasmas. But it wasn't until her second time when she kind of realized there's some shit going on. One night she walked from her room to the kitchen, but she always takes time to look at the monitors that have cameras around our house. She looked at one of the monitors and she realized there was a lady in front of the house. She was kind of curious why there was a lady in the middle of our night in front of our house, so she went to go to the window and look. When she got to the window, she looked around and she saw nobody. Confused where this lady went to. She walked back to the monitor again. She looked at it and she realized that the lady was in our backyard. Being the smart person that my mom is, she decided to go investigate by herself. She looked around and saw no one, so she came back to her room and she woke up my dad to go double check what she saw in the backyard. They walked around our backyard and they looked at the gates. And all the gates were locked and there was no sign of anybody breaking into our backyard. So she was confused where this lady came from and where she left to. She kind of realized something a little shady was going on. My mom is still confused what she saw that night, but she always takes the time to make it as a joke. After that experience, she does believe a little bit that our house is actually haunted. The next story is scary for me and for my girlfriend, because one night we were in her car and I parked in the driveway. We're having a little, I believe, an argument, typical relationship shit, but the argument kind of got cut short because I kept on looking around in her rearview mirrors. She was getting freaked out because I was getting distracted more from what I saw than the conversation itself. The thing that also freaked her out as well was that she was seeing shit too. She was telling me that she was seeing a figure through the cracks of our gate that was in front of us, and she also saw somebody in the front porch of my next door neighbor's house. But it was just a figure, not an actual person. After a while, she was getting freaked out too much that she wanted to leave. And me, being scared as well, I wanted to go back inside to my house for safety, that I let her leave. As she was driving home, she called me and we discussed what we're seeing. We both literally basically at the same time, we described the same figure that we were seeing around her car. I told her from the rearview mirror, I saw a figure, and when I started looking and trying to focus on it in the shadows, it was a figure of a lady kind of hunched back. And she was telling me that she saw a figure of a lady in front of us and on the porch of my neighbor. Although it was just a figure and it was kind of like a shadow, you can still kind of see some characteristics of the woman, as mostly her hair. But it wasn't that type of shit you see like in horror movies where it's a lady in a gown, or like those fake videos of haunted or ghosts. It was just a shadow, and it wasn't like any defining dresses or clothing. It was just, you knew it was a woman by just staring at it. I was freaked out about it, but I try to keep tough for my girlfriend because she's also driving back to her house at night, but I couldn't hold it in. I was honestly freaked out what we just saw, especially with that we both experienced the same thing separately but together, if you know what I mean. So the last story that I want to talk about is, I want to mention again how we can hear footsteps in the hallway, but we can always define who it is, but there's always one set of footsteps that we can't define. One night my girlfriend was spending the night and we had a full house, but the thing is that made it creepier was that she heard footsteps. We had the door closed and locked for privacy reasons, obviously. She told me that she heard footsteps coming from the hallway kind of up to my room, and then she heard faint footsteps leading up to the bed. She felt and heard somebody standing at the edge of my bed, kind of where I'm standing. She tried to wake me up, But honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. If I woke up and I saw that shit, I wouldn't be able to go back to sleep or be in the same house. So I did the noble thing of not waking up so I can get my sleep. And I know, I'm a fucking asshole. Well, she took the guts to kind of look up on honestly what she saw. I guess I'll finish in the next video. Thank you for watching and listening to my haunted house story part 2 after a year from the first part. I will post the third video hopefully next week, especially since I have so much free time because you know, the coronavirus. But again, I want to thank you for watching and please subscribe and like the video, and I hope you liked it, and I'm sorry for the cliffhanger, but I'll see you next week. No, gracias. Okay.